Hi everyone, my name's Damara, and we're starting today with the new moon in Cancer, which, depending where you live on our wild planet, it'll either be today or tomorrow. But this new moon, I have heard described by astrologers that it is the most important new moon in 20 years. I mean, that is incredible. When I was looking at one astrologer, he said this is because the moon, the sun, and Jupiter will all be in the same degree in Cancer. So this is why it's happening. And there are many things about this new moon. It's a new cycle, a new time, not just a new beginning. It's a whole complete new cycle. And we are aware of many changes going on, aren't we? Even within the Earth structure herself, the volcanoes are flaring up, the earthquakes are shaking the plates. All of this is going on at this time, and this is the time that was prophesized and has been prophesized for many, many years. I myself was asked to channel a book in 1991, which is all about these times right now. So what we need to look at is, where are we sitting within our cycle of life individually? And I'm going to use the Golden Futures cards. I'm thinking are going to be great for this, because this is what it's about. This is about the new moon when it comes in, where it is, and with all the other powerful transits around it. It is going to be a total time of reassessing everything in our lives, and also about how we actually see the world and relate to the world and how it is. So it's everything. And we are going to be reassessing this, whether we like it or not. Now, the more that you stay in a sovereign state and conscious with a high frequency, the more you're going to get out of this. And this is why I thought I'd jump on and do each astrological sign. We're going to start, I'm just going to realign the camera here. We're going to start with the fire signs here, okay? So I've already shuffled these 9 times, and my instructions from the universe are to have 11 shuffles. So we're going to do the 2 shuffles there. That was a very small one, but I'm going to go by this with what they're telling me. So we're going to deal off now for Aries. And what are we getting here for Aries? This is an amazing card, because this is number 22, the law. And this is for the Emperor people, the Aries people, the I am factor with that. And this is acting with a conscious sense and responsibility. And that is so important for Aries at the moment, because with Aries, if you're on a lower consciousness level, it can be very much, I'm going to walk forward anyway, impulsively. I'm not going to think about it. So this is really putting the responsibility of consciousness onto Aries, and to be responsible first and foremost for being in a more conscious state before you make any decisions, and before you do your reassessment of your life and what is happening in the world. So we're going to leave it there with that card, and I'm also going to do a shadow card here for each sign. These have been shuffled 9 times as well. Let's see where we're going to go here. That's the 2. What does the shadow say here? Oh, this is about envy. This is about turn the green eyes of envy into a time for self-improvement and inspiration. Oh my goodness, this is so powerful for Aries here. So be responsible, Aries, as we walk into this new moon, this new energy, this sovereign energy. This is what it's about. It's about being sovereign. But that sovereignty must be on the higher level to take responsibility. Let's see where we're going for Leo now. For Leo, we have the card of the new children. And this is going to be, you know, Leos are very much one of our leadership signs. So the new children is going to be part of that for them. Let's just see what that's saying on here. Be all you can be. And you know, this is also what I'm getting is a real nudge from the universe here about the inner child for the Leos. Be all you can be. So this is not just about those fiery energies, is it? And with our new moon, which I forgot to recap on in the beginning, it's in Cancer. All those, the Sun, Moon and Jupiter, all in Cancer. That's all about sensitivities. That's all about caring for others. And Leos do sometimes forget that when they roar off on their leadership journey. So this is asking you to be all that you can be by evolving the parts of your inner child that you've not healed and that you've not lived into and brought forward in your life. Let's just see what that shadow card is. This is about regret. So for some Leos with the inner child, this is about these are very difficult. Another set of cards which are done on black, but it's very difficult to read. Let me just, first of all, I'm just going to open my door because I have incense burning here so strongly. In fact, I'm going to put it out, that it's smoked up the room. That's a good place for it, the top of the stairs. I'm going to leave that door open. So yeah, Leos, let's talk about regret here. What is it you're regretting? And I mean, I know that some Leos, and this is also to do with leaders of countries, isn't it, where they are Leo types or they have a strong Leo in their chart, and they have great regret when they suddenly realise that they were operating in ego. And we have that in our world right now. We have three men, probably lots more behind them as well, but the three main men acting in the 15-year-old ego. Shooting missiles across the world. So really pay attention, Leos, to the regrets that you haven't really looked at. And it will still remain regret until you heal those parts of the inner child within you that you haven't healed. That's how it works. And that's why this shadow aspect is still there. The same with Aries here. The shadow aspect here of not taking responsibility is because, and having envy, is because that part in the shadow of the big I am has not been healed. And you're not feeling the richness of who you really are. And it will be the egotistical I am that is still winning there. So you've got to watch for that. And when I'm talking about these things, they can be on many levels for each person. Some people, some Aries out there are really just in their ego. Some Aries have really done a lot of work on themselves and are now coming out of that, but they still have to watch for that aspect because it is a familiarity with Aries. And the same with Leo here. The familiarity is with walking boldly forward like the lion, but not remembering the more sensitive parts of themselves with the inner child there and the childlike inspiration, the childlike creativity. So that is really, really important. Let's do, we've got the fire signs here. So we have Aries, we need Sagittarius. And Sagittarius here, the super love portal. Well, I love that for Sagittarius. That's amazing. These are beautiful Golden Futures cards, and sometimes they hold the essence of the things that we're not even yet thinking about. So how is this going to figure? Accept yourself as a cosmic being. The super love portal. So again, it's bringing Sagittarians' vivaciousness and, experimental side, and the part of them that loves to travel and do wild things and always have change going on. This is about coming back to the fact that you are a cosmic being, and that within your soul is the most important part of you. So you can lead then with the cosmic being. And as I said, people are talking about this as the new moon that is the most important for 20 years. So this is where you make intentions today and tomorrow. So an intention for a Sagittarian is going to be looking at the higher levels of how they now guide their life and what inspirations to bring in from the soul level. Let's see what is going to be helping them from the shadow level here. This is attachment. Yeah, right. So with it's letting go, really. I mean, this is about, if you grow more, Sagittarians, if you grow more on the soul level, what's going to happen there is you will be letting go of some things, some people, some areas of your life that now do not run well when you are activating the soul level. So that's a really important card there for Sagittarians as well. Where will we go now? I think we're going to go to the water, and we're going to start with Cancer here. Cancer is about education, expanding your right brain activity. And this is taking Cancerians out of the logic, the 3D kind of aspects of, everyday living. It's going into the more intuitive side of our Cancerians, and they need to really educate themselves on that. And because all of this is happening in Cancerian signs, it's like this is huge for Cancerians. And our guidance, Cancerians, is that you need to come out of the logic and now make your intentions intuitively and not just from your left brain, what you've always known, what you think is right and what you think is wrong. When you start to activate the other side of your brain, you will be led by your soul blueprint and your intuition. My goodness, for Cancerians, with everything that's going on for them, that's the best thing that could come out here. Let's see what we're looking at on the shadow aspect. Judge less, understand more. This is the Judgment card coming out for Cancerians. And maybe, where they're all tied up with their sensitivity and their feelings, and poor me sometimes, this is a time very much to think about others. And if you think about Cancerians, their really good aspect is that they have the ability to, be a caring soul who thinks about others. And this is what this whole new moon is also about, because it is in Cancer. But for Cancerians who've not done the work, they get into judgment that it's always everybody else's fault because they're so full of their own untackled feelings. They haven't healed enough to rise as the sensitive being that we need them to be, but with an overall picture of that, and it's not all contained about them. My goodness, I feel like this is the most powerful reading I've ever done for the astrological signs. We're water. This is Pisces next. This is health and healing for Pisces. I'm just trying to read the words on this. Tune in to your divine blueprint, Pisces. Goodness me, these are so on track, aren't they? With us being in our sovereignty, with us being those cosmic beings now. So Pisces, remember this well for the next period of time, because this is not going to stop. This is just one junction with this new moon as everything else unfolds for the rest of 2025. So this is time to tune into your divine blueprint. So begin by at least starting to meditate. Clean up your life, clean up the stagnant energies in your body with maybe yoga, and really cleaning up your diet, because that is needed so that you can tune in to your blueprint. What is the shadow side telling us? It's guilt, mistakes, and not doing the things that you needed to have done. This is catch up. This is, don't stay in this guilt very long. I mean, it's really good to look at what we have done, that are mistakes, and owning them. And this is about yourself, what you have not healed for yourself. So don't hang long in the guilt. Have a look at the whole essence of why this has come up. And this has come up because you've not always supported yourself well, Pisces. You've allowed the Piscean energies to drag you into the nuances of things, the airy-fairy side of things, rather than really getting down to the self-healing that you need to do. So allow yourself to feel the guilt and then get rid of it quickly and tune into that divine blueprint as you were told. We're now doing Scorpio here. Wow, this is interesting. The Scorpio card is all about the economy. Trust your needs will be met, Scorpios. And Scorpios are already going to be activated very much on this journey that we're on, because they are all about death and rebirth. And this is where you have to walk forward, but you also have to realize that you can't always see what's on the horizon. You don't always see the assets in your bank account, but you still have to walk forward and trust that your needs will always be met. This is very on point. These cards are the best I could have used for this. Let's see what the shadow is going to say here. Well, isn't that interesting? You really can't make this up, because this was about trust your needs will be met. And this is dealing with the shadow aspect of distrust. People doubt divination. People doubt our intuitive powers, the way we shuffle and the cards come out perfect. Don't ever do that, because I'm proven this to myself every time I do a read here. Get rid of the distrust. This is not only in areas of the money. This is having faith in yourself that you are manifesting what you need. And also, when you have trust in yourself, Scorpio, you also build the trust in others. You can't do that. It's the same as love. When we try to love others without loving ourselves, it doesn't work. It's not the real thing. So this is saying, trust yourself more first. But this is all about knowing that the universe is going to provide you with everything you need, Scorpio. I'm going to go onto the air now and start with Libra. Libra is about nature. Tune into the natural world. I love this for Librans. And, we're not always in the situation where we can do that, are we? I mean, if you live in a high-rise flat, you're going to have to make effort to do this. And to go out every time you have a day off, or to spend your lunch times in the local park. I mean, it can be as small as that. But also those long journeys into nature. I mean, I'm really looking forward to doing that in the near future. Because here in Mexico, it's very dry and arid. And we do get the rainy season, which we're in now. But when you're living in a city, as I do, you can go to the parks. But that's the only place. And I'm really looking forward to getting out into the wild nature. And I'm sure there's lots more Librans who need that too, because I feel like I really need that right now, and I'm sure others do. So this is work on that. But also, for me, like I have a terrace that's full of herb plants and cactus and all sorts of trees, bay trees and things. And I also have a yard. So I have the greenery around me. I have a wonderful tree that's opposite my windows as I look out, which I just felt had been planted there all those years ago just for me to come and take on this casita that I live in. So I do have things like that around me, and I can't live without it. And I think there's Librans out there who don't realise that they need nature. Let's see what the shadow is here. The shadow is shame. Embrace your flaws. They are a part of your unique story. Isn't that great? So our flaws, and we know this, don't we? Because they're part of our unhealed shadow always. And we're working on those, but we should not have shame, because what they lead us to is amazing parts on the positive side of us too. So, embrace your flaws, Librans. And I know for me and all Librans, we love the aesthetics of everything. We love everything to be beautiful. We love it to be the colours that we relate to and resonate with. We have a very aesthetic approach to life with what we wear, how we show ourselves in public, all of that. And there's some pretty horror stories out there. And I find it very difficult myself with what's happening with all the horror of war and the horror of poverty and the horror of greed out there. But we do have to, take that on board, and also then look at our own flaws, which we're not happy with. So be aware of the big picture and the whole picture. It cannot always be that we perfectly align with what we need to perfectly align with. That's a deep one for Librans there. Air signs, so we are going on to Gemini here. This is about Geminis in leisure and sport, and what the words say is to get more involved in fun in your lives. I mean, we all know how serious life can become when we're in the middle of the biggest changes that have ever hit our planet in every way, as we go through this cleansing. And the cleansing is about what's happening on the earth side of volcanoes, earthquakes, and that's a big thing to take on board. But we're also looking at the power-mongering egos of leaders of country that have been at it for decades. And they've been at it actually for hundreds of years. ever since their existence. We need more women in power who are coming through with the healing qualities, the sensitivity and the intuition, but that's not going to happen yet. That'll happen as we move into our new world, but we are dealing with a lot of serious stuff, and we need Geminis who think too much a lot of the time to bring in some fun, leisure and sport so that you're really letting go, so that you can then revive again and then go back into what you're here for, is to think intensely, but about the solutions, not the problems. Let's see where we're going here on the shadow side. This is about avoidance. And this is about a fear of the unknown, actually. And I can understand that with Geminis because I'm a Libran, so we think a lot, but Geminis are on steroids with the thinking. And sometimes they can be flitting from one thing to another very quickly. So this is about not avoiding the fears that they have about what's happening, but also don't get stuck into thinking about it too much. So don't avoid it by shutting down, but don't get totally involved where you don't need to. So this is about really prioritizing what you think about and what you don't. And also most Geminis need meditation more than any other sign, because this stops the monkey manus mind by being in control and gives you the higher mind so that you can do exactly this, that you can think when you need to think, you can take leisure when you need to take leisure and let go, and that you're also not in avoidance. So there's kind of three sides of this here. And it's about looking at what you're avoiding and what your mind's taking charge with and roaring ahead with, when you should really be looking at some finer truth details rather than the multi details that you can get involved in, which are really the fluff. So meditation for Geminis at this moment is necessary. Actually, it's necessary for every sign. But we know that the general public, I've got hiccups now, the general public does not always see that meditation should be a part of everyone's life. So we have done the Libra, the Gemini, and I'm struggling here with the next air sign, Aquarians. How could I forget that? Aquarians, this is about travel, the golden future card of travel. And this is about, bringing in the ecological factors of travel as well. So with Aquarians who really want to be here, there and everywhere and a part of this Aquarian age, bring in the factors of how one travels, what one really needs in life rather than all the luxuries. When you're going off on the next wild idea, think about the ecological aspects of it. Aquarians have that in their veins, but what happens. Again, if you meditate, it really aligns you with the truth and the poignant parts of your path. But if you don't meditate and you haven't healed your shadow self, you're not going to give a damn about the ecology of the planet, the ecology of everything around us. You're just going to roar forward with the wildness of your spirit. So this is about really drilling down into the real finer parts of Aquarians. Because in this Aquarian age, it's all about equality, freedom and peace, but for everyone. So we need to leave our planet in the right state for the next generation. So the ecology side of it, this is deep for Aquarians, because Aquarians can be quite detached about a lot of things. They are the extreme of the air signs in that way. and they can shout their truths, but they quite often don't always live it. That's what I'm getting from the universe here. So ecology should be on your mind, Aquarians. That's a kind of diverse one for Aquarians. Let's see where they're bringing, right. They're bringing this in through the shadow and telling them that their ego needs to be sorted out here. I'm just looking at these tiny words on a black card. This is looking at the true depths of your character, Aquarians. So yeah, you are mainlining this lifetime because you are Aquarians in the new Aquarian age. But you really do have to look at the ego. And you know, that's what would stop Aquarians looking at the ecological side of everything. Like not bringing in the deeper soul level and the deeper understanding of why they're Aquarians. They're not Aquarians just to do everything different and be as wild as they can and as unexpected as people could even think about. That's not all it's about. It is about that, but it's got to be with the values of the Aquarian age, the ecological side, the ecological side of that. I love that. Okay, so we're going into the earth. Let's start with Taurus here. Jump shift your life, Taurians. And this is about tuning into the subtle sides of life. I mean, you know, Taurians are very earthed, and I think that's great for the jobs they take up and the earthing that we all need when, you know, to have Taurians around. It's great. But they need to tune into it says here, tune into the crystals. It makes me laugh because some Taurians are going to say, what the heck? There's nothing in crystals. They're just solid rock, you know, and that's just not true. So that's really like a joke here. But it is tune into the crystal side of everything in life. Because even our planet has a crystal grid, but it may take you some time to convince a Taurian of that. So the subtle things, you need to bring out your subtle energy, Taurians. I'm going to love what this shadow says here, because it'll align with it. This is about betraying. This is about forgiveness. You know, maybe having taken on board too many betrayals, thinking that people have betrayed them. I mean, sometimes, and I've seen this happen with Taurians, they get so tied up with a betrayal, and it may not even be a truthful one. I've seen that happen with people I know, that in other people's aspect of it and the way they think about it, it wasn't a betrayal at all. It just was something that wasn't meant for them. But Taurians can take a betrayal so inwardly that they never come out of it and they never see the truth. And with it saying, jump shift your life and get into the subtleties, that's when you don't stick to black and white. And that is so solid with many, many of our Taurians. And when it's used in the right area of life, it's like everything, it's perfect. But when you bring that black and white attitude and that bitterness of betrayal where it should be lifted, and your life should be shifted into the subtle energies and the whys that you've never even thought about. And the reasons people do things that you don't even bring into the picture. And that's because you're too rooted in the earth, Taurians. So this is about subtleties. And the joke is they're telling you to tune into crystals. Because I think a lot of Taurians would find that hard. Capricorn is the next earth sign. And for Capricorns who are so involved in the institutions, the right and wrongs, the setups that have been there for hundreds of years, the laws that have been there for hundreds of years that they stick by when they're really digging their feet in and they're really not lifting off the earth and getting into the more, again, subtle states. They cannot comprehend a group consciousness. So this is asking them to do that. This is embrace consciousness, Capricornis. This is about letting go and coming into the joy, not just the earthy energies, not coming into the solid foundations. You know, we're breaking the foundations and we're living in the joy and vibration of life now through the group consciousness. This is what all our work at the moment is about. When you are somebody who is on mission, this is about group consciousness rising up now. But first we have to get it activated in every individual. So Capricorns, really realizing why in this next new cycle you need to lift off and let go of everything that will not be needed in this next part of the new cycle. What's their shadow? This is fear. And I can totally understand that for Capricorns. Face your darkness. It is the only way to find the light. So the darkness is the fear. And the fear is what stops Capricorns lifting off and becoming a light-hearted, joyful, happy part of our group consciousness that is evolving now. Excuse me, that is a big part. I think my throat chakra blocking here is about all the Capricorns who don't want to know this. They feel so safe within. Even secret societies for them are a need because they're still in a society, in a group, and they have solid rules. But what we're going towards is who we really are, where we fly in our true colours of extreme high frequency energy. And that's scaring a lot of Capricorns. But we're all here to help every one of these signs, aren't we? So we're at Virgo. Let's see where you're going on this new moon. Well, it's clothing. It's the outer look. Let your outer express your inner. You know, when I think of a Virgoan who is really strongly Virgo in their chart, maybe, you know, lots of strengths in lots of areas of it coming through as Virgoan. And it's the perfectionist, isn't it? It's the woman who has the clean, perfect shoes, who has the perfect colour match, who is dressed as everyone who would expect her to be. And she sits in her office with a perfect, uncreative desk. And this is about let your inner shine through your outer. That's the words on this cards, Virgos. Let your character, your inspiration, and your joy be shown in the colour, in the style of who you really are. Not as a robotic idea of what you think should be. This is really great. I love that for Virgos. Let's see what the shadow aspect is here. It's the illusion. Seek reality, even if it's raw and challenging. Whoa. And that's really, really cool. I mean, I have a Virgoan ascendant, and it doesn't, you know, I am somebody who wears colours that I just love because I'm a Libran and I don't dress conventionally, I never have. But I do see my Virgoan side in how things need to be sometimes in other areas of my life. And I'm always being challenged to let the raw and real side of me be there in every area of my life. And I take that on board. I will accept that challenge. But there are a lot of Virgos out there who won't. So this is about the illusion. You know, seek reality even if it's raw and challenging. You should have that written on a lovely sign, Virgos, across your room for this new moon. So where we're in this energy of this new moon, it's about, first and foremost, it's about a new cycle. It's about making the next wish, making the next decision about your life, but to make it in a way that is sovereign, from the sovereign part of you, because this is all in the transits that are there. It's too complex for me to go through, but check out the astrology. Check out the astrology for the next 6 months. It's amazing. And there's something I want to add here. What I've been doing at 9 p.m. is I've been asking people to visualize the caduceus, the universal sign for peace and healing. I want you to visualize this. Join us at 9 p.m. your time so that we have a wave of this peace consciousness going across the planet permanently. This will be the third night tonight. And what we do is we come in at 8:55 and put our attention on our breath. So we are meeting within universal energy, within the ethers, together. All of us who want this new world to come through of peace, freedom and equality at this time of war actions on our planet. This is the most powerful thing you can do. So by 9 o'clock, after you've put your attention on your breath for the first 5 minutes, you will be ready to visualize the caduceus over the country shape of the United States, over the country shape of Iran, over the country shape of Israel. So remind yourself, and you are shining it. So your thoughts are going to be that this is shining in the sky over these countries. And, you know, I did this a few years ago when I had this artwork done so that I could use it in the future, knowing that there was going to be conflicts coming up. When I did it, I put a lot of work into getting the information out for people to join us at 9 p.m. all over the internet. And about 2 days into doing this, 2 or 3 days, there were 2 people who knew nothing about this visualization project that put videos up of seeing this shape just like this in white shining in the sky. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I believe the power that is the most important power, even above and beyond nuclear and missiles. We've seen it before with the transcendental meditation people who went to countries and a ceasefire was caused. They went to other countries where there were high rates of crime in certain cities, and the crime rates reduced incredibly when they meditated in those cities and were calling for peace. I know it works, but to see it in the sky was incredible. We're going to make that happen again. Third night tonight, 9 p.m. Please subscribe to the channel. This is the way I can get all of the information out to other people. It's not easy when you're doing the sort of readings and the sort of things I'm doing because it's new. It's new to think of your higher being and not the drama and the gossip. It's new to think that we can heal the world. But know it in your soul. But I need more subscribers. I need more likes. Please comment on this video if you're going to join us. Just put Caduceus or just put peace in the comments. Thank you for listening. Have a great day and think about this new cycle that's beginning and what you've been asked through the card that was yours today. Bye for now.